Hey guys, how you doing? Hopefully you're doing okay. I'm going to read through pretty much the full article here. There is a link in the description. It's absolutely horrific. It involves the murder, the starvation to death of a 7-week-old baby boy at the hands of the mother. The scumbag that you see in front of you, Shantavia Hayden, 29 years of age. She's a mother of 4. She's from Michigan. She's gone through a trial in regards to the death of her son, 7-week-old Amir Griffin, and she has been found guilty. It's been determined that Amir Griffin was starved to death. I am going to be reading through most of the article, some details describing the condition of the young baby boy will be read out, so please take that as a trigger warning. And I did cover this topic back in April of this year. I believe at that time she refused a plea deal. So the prosecutors offered her 10 years in jail should she plead guilty. She refused that. She said, "I'm not guilty. I didn't do anything wrong." But thankfully she has since been found guilty. The sentencing that she faces and the sentencing hearing will occur November the 2nd. But she's facing a minimum of 13.5 years in detention and a maximum sentence of life in prison. Again, having been convicted of starving her 7-week-old son to death 2 years ago. 13.5 years in prison. Come on, Michigan. What the hell are you on about? That's not appropriate at all. She literally starved her child to death. She's been found guilty of that. The minimum sentence is, well, she may possibly be sentenced 13.5 years. No way near that is no way near long enough. So Michigan, please understand that she requires the maximum sentence, which is life in prison. Her acts have been completely heinous. She's been found guilty of second-degree murder and second-degree child abuse in regards to the death of her son, Amir Griffin, 7 weeks of old, starved to death, hadn't eaten for a week. I'm going to skip down to one of the latter parts. One of the nurses that moved Amir's body to the morgue reportedly told jurors that the baby's gaunt appearance took my breath away. The baby was emaciated, sunken cheeks. You could see all of his ribs. His eye sockets were sunken in. It was horrible. That was a comment from a nurse that handled Amir's body after it had passed. Took Amir's body to the morgue. The nurse would be well versed with dealing with, forgive me, dead people, dead children, dead infants. She was absolutely disgusted by the horrific skeletal appearance of 7-week-old Amir. So I'm going to read through some of the details. The mother, at approximately 5:26 a.m. on October the 11th, 2020, brought an unresponsive Amir to the Children's Hospital of Michigan in Detroit. Doctors attempted to resuscitate the infant, but they were tragically unsuccessful. Amir was reportedly pronounced dead at 5:39 a.m., only 13 minutes after arriving at the facility. An emergency room physician testified during the trial that Amir had likely been deceased for several hours prior to the mother bringing him to the hospital. The physician noted that rigor mortis was already beginning to set in the young boy's body. The physician testified even, the child was very malnourished. The bones are very prominent. The skin is draping around the bones because there is no fat left. The fat has been used. Amir was cold and blue. His temperature was approximately 91 degrees Fahrenheit when he arrived at the hospital. So the boy's body was unable to function. There was no energy within the body. No fat, no energy. Not able to maintain a normal temperature. The body had failed. The county medical examiner's office have said that Amir's cause of death was malnutrition. Amir's stomach was completely empty, indicating that he had not eaten for approximately an entire week. Prosecutors argued that Amir consistently lost weight following his birth. He was healthy. He was a healthy child, other than he was not fed. He starved to death. There is no other cause of death. That is the closing argument. So the article tells us that the mother was taken into custody shortly after Amir's death. She was held in jail for this entire period, so that's a good thing, approaching 2 years. She was held on a $1 million bond. I applaud that. Michigan, that's good. When you're confident that these people are at fault and are responsible for the murder of children, then yes, keep them locked up. The article also tells us that the mother has a 1-year-old daughter and 2 sons, aged 6 and 7. The article doesn't tell us that they're in the custody of somebody else, but given that she's been in jail for the last 2 years, clearly the children are in the custody of somebody else or the state. We don't know. That's pretty much everything. As I mentioned, the mother was offered a plea deal from the prosecutors. If she were to have pleaded guilty, she would automatically be handed a 10-year prison sentence. She declined to do that. She said, "I'm not pleading guilty to no murder because I did not harm my child." Wrong. Wrong, Shantavia. You did harm your child. You starved your child, Amir Griffin, to death. 7 weeks old, a healthy boy, no medical conditions other than his body failed because he wasn't fed. He wasn't fed for an entire week leading to his death, and seemingly he wasn't fed adequately prior to that. You're a scumbag, Shantavia Hayden. I'm glad he didn't take the plea deal. I think it's kind of disgusting that you were offered one in the first place. A 10-year jail sentence for starving a child to death is just inadequate. Michigan, you fucked up in that regard. You shouldn't have offered that plea deal, but thankfully she didn't take it. And now she's going to face sentencing as of November the 2nd. Again, we're told within this article that the minimum jail sentence she'll face is 13.5 years, and the maximum would be life in prison. 13.5 years is nowhere near enough. She literally starved her child to death. 13.5 years, not enough, does not come to equate to what she has taken away. So, Michigan judges, bear that in mind. There is no reason why she should get anything less than life in prison. She's been found guilty. Amir hadn't eaten for 1 entire week. He was 7 weeks old. He was neglected seemingly from birth. An otherwise healthy child. This scumbag mother needs to get exactly what she deserves, life in prison. I'm going to wrap things up at this point, guys. If you appreciate the coverage, please do like, comment, subscribe, share the video as you see fit, and take care.